yesterday, I hope you'll agree. Mind's blown. Today could be even better. We've got some treats throughout the day. It's going to be a packed day. We've got robots. We've got a whole session in a minute on why data is incredibly sexy. We have the opportunity to read the minds of some members of the audience. We've got face recognition. We've got friends from Downing Street coming to explain some policy. We've got a business session. We've got a curated session all the way from India by the Inc. conference. So how alive is the web?
Well, the web is, depending on how you define the web is actually in trouble. We defined the web in that piece as being the sort of the Tim Berners-Lee original notion of the open end-to-end web. And, you know, if you're using Facebook, you're not on that web. If you're using your iPad or your iPhone or iTunes or Netflix or Xbox or, you know, any one of these other sort of closed networks, you're not on the web. You may be using a web browser. In the case of Facebook, you may be using the internet for transport. But the notion of the end-to-end web, the web that the Google crawler can see, is a shrinking fraction of usage of the internet. If Facebook becomes the web, and if we just basically follow the lead of geniuses like Steve Jobs and Mark Zuckerberg and beyond, we have entered a different world than the one that brought us here. It is a world with less choice, less openness, and less opportunity for the startups of the world to make an impact.
In many categories, not even the most basic assumption of economics, which is that demand goes up as price goes down. If you work in the art world, it's a fairly common saying that if you've had a painting in the window for 2 weeks for £2,000 and it doesn't sell, double the price. The reason is, in the art world, there are people wandering around who want to buy a £4,000 painting who don't want to buy a £2,000 painting. The most effective form of airline profiling, if you want to spot a suicide bomber, is not to look at skin color, ethnicity, or religion. It's ask them what they did at university. If they studied engineering, marigolds on, basically.
Amazon has been one of the pioneers of actually big data analytics through the recommendation system. Yeah, so here, for example, if you buy an oil filter, we will recommend you an SAT book, the Jackson 5, and probably some new perfume. That's not necessarily the right choices. Or we'll recommend you to buy Windows 7 if you've bought a set of Japanese steak knives. Yeah? And actually, if you go into Google and you type in funny Amazon recommendations, you'll find a whole set of recommendations, especially that are more adult-oriented, that mess up. And why does it mess up? It's because we do not have enough data actually to give very fine-grained recommendations.
And to further scale our work, I've actually saved a tidbit of really good news to share with you today. Today, the Ikea Foundation announced that they're contributing $3.8 million to Refugees United to help us further our implementation of tools alongside partners specifically focused on the Horn of Africa. So.
Social media is digital narcissism. We've invented this technology. Joanna says technology is finally catching up with human behavior. I'm not so sure if that's true. Technology is changing human behavior. Technology is changing it in a way in which we are using it to promote ourselves, from our photographs to our taste, to what we're playing on Spotify or SoundCloud. Why are we giving away so much of our information? So much of our intimate information, our reading habits, our television habits, our listening habits, our political views, so that Noreen can listen in and quantify it, so that Facebook can be valued at $80 billion even though they're not paying us for our information. Something has gone fundamentally wrong.
What you're going to see, we have these, inside here, we have an ultrasonic beam. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just show the speaker around. Hopefully it'll work, and only the people in the line of sight to the speaker will be able to hear something. And as soon as I turn the speaker away from you, you'll be able to hear nothing. I actually saw a very interesting ad for a movie, Supernormal. And when people are walking in Soho in New York, there was an ad for a movie, and it would beam sound to a specific location, telling people, you're hearing voices. We're watching you. It was great because people didn't really know where the sound was coming from.
In Formula One racing, a split-second decision or a split-second advantage can make the difference between winning or losing. And the challenge is we have vast amounts of data that we have to process. So we really do need to have a strategy that moves in real time. Objective measured data drives everything that we do in the race. More than that, the data feeds into models that allow us to simulate how our car is performing in the moment and will perform in the future, and also how our competitors are performing relative to us.
I'd like to invite some audience to come up here and do a duel with me. So let me explain what this does. You're player 1, I'm player 2.
Player 1, embarrassing.
Okay. So when it says ready, you push my way and I'll push your way.
And finally, and for me this is the most interesting thing, what nanotechnology will bring is the tools for getting us closer to the reverse engineering of biology. When we can understand cancer and understand how to shape cancer cells back into shape, we will have an enormous tool. We will be able to use and manipulate biological matter, and that will take us to a completely new game in every possible way.
What's going on?